Welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, proud to be the world's #1 community for brilliant childcare leaders. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Elif Childcare Insurance. Give Blake a call at 972-232-2258 to get a free quote on childcare business insurance today. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius podcast, our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to episode 78 of the Childcare Genius podcast. I am your host, Brian Dupre. I'm flying solo today. Carol had a doctor's appointment out of town today, and so she will not be with us. We just spent the last 3 weeks together in Jamaica. We just got home, and I kind of miss her. We've been gone a couple hours, and I haven't seen her. We've been together 24/7, 24/7 for the last 3 weeks in Jamaica. You can see I'm nice and tan now. You can't tell, but the big spotlight is in there now, but we had a good time. Before we get started, just a reminder that tickets are on sale. We are almost sold out for our Childcare Genius live conference, Las Vegas, April 14, 15, 16, the most advanced childcare conference in the world. Going to be some amazing content. Go to childcaregenius.com to purchase tickets again. And like I said, tickets are going to be sold out probably the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We are going to be sold out of this conference. It is Black History Month. And what a better way to celebrate than to interview very successful African-American child care business owners. Each week this month, we're going to interview a different couple that we've had the pleasure of personally coaching. This week, we're going to interview William and Vaudrien Ray of Ruby's Academy in Charleston, South Carolina. They've got an amazing story. I've been coaching them for over a year and we think helped them in a significant way. And they're going to talk a little bit about the impact coaching has had on them. They're going to talk about how they met, which is an interesting story. They're going to talk about how they named their Ruby's Academy, how they got the name, which is, again, is an interesting story. And maybe even some secret nuggets in there on how you work together as a couple, which isn't always easy as well. So get ready for a power-packed episode from this amazing dynamic couple. So let's get William and Vaudrien on the line. Hi, William and Vaudrien. Welcome to Childcare Genius Podcast. How are you guys today?
Good. Doing great. Thank you.
Man, you guys are looking good. Better looking every time I see you. I'm gonna make it blush. Anyway, so good to have you back on the podcast for a second time. You're one of my favorite couples that I've been working with for quite a while, and I always enjoy talking to you guys. And I wanted to bring you on. It's obviously Black History Month. It's February, and we're highlighting 4 African-American owners that have made history in their markets. They're doing incredible things. And I wanted to have you on as a guest. But before we kind of get into things, I want people to get to know you. So tell us a little bit more about your background, how you guys met, maybe what was your life like before childcare? I know probably childcare is so consuming now, but I want you to go back and take a look and tell us a little bit about you guys.
Okay. Well, I'll start. Yeah. So that was an interesting question, how we met. That's an interesting story. William and I actually met on a blind date. And I am not the type person to go on a blind date. But at the time, my good friend who was dating William's brother, her name was Charlotte, they set us up on this blind date. And when it was actually time for us to have the date, William was extremely late. William was I think I recall maybe 2 hours late, which I was not going to go out with him at that point. He got caught up at work or something, and he was super late. And they begged me, please still go. And I was like, oh no, this guy is late on the first date. I'm not going. But they convinced me to give him a chance, and here we are. And they actually broke up, and we are married happily.
30 years now.
Almost 30.
28 years, yeah. 30 years.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask, William, were you late for the second date?
No, I
we
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
You
That would have
weren't.
been pushing it there. Oh yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
too much. So my background is I am a former school psychologist. I used to work in the school system, placing children in special needs programs, based upon what their needs are. And pretty much William and I, once we started having kids, is when childcare entered our lives. We have 3 beautiful children, and at the time they were much younger. And I'll let William share what he was doing before we got into that.
Well, I was in the reserves. I was a second lieutenant and made it up to captain and got out at that time. And I was also an executive director for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So it came a time that I left that industry as well. And when we had our 3rd child, she played a dirty trick on me. She said, well, I'm not going back to work. And I really didn't believe it. And I kept asking her, I said, when you going back? When you going back? And she didn't.
No, I didn't.
And the next thing I knew is that I had my youngest child and 4 other kids in my house. And it got to be a problem. And I told her, I said, look, I can't come home every day and look at all these other people's kids. It's just irritating to me. But she enjoyed it.
I love it.
And she told me, she said, if you don't want me in here, then find me a place to go. So at that time, I just got my real estate license and I found her a place to go. And it's been magic for us ever since. We found a small house on an acre lot and we built her daycare center and it's been flourishing ever since.
Well, you guys have a very similar story, William, because I did not want all those kids in my house too. I had 12 kids and I worked from home. So I didn't come home to them. They were there. I could hear them while I was trying to do my work in my bedroom where my office was. I was like, Carol, we got to get these kids out of here. It's like, well, we can't afford not to have our daycare. Let's go find a place. So we're in the same boat. So if you're out there and you have a home daycare, guys, and you want to get to the center, do what William did. Just go find a location.
Yeah.
It works.
Great story. And what's the name of your school and how long have you been in business?
Our school is Ruby's Academy, and it has been in existence for 15 years now.
Now tell me how you got to name that Ruby's Academy.
So Ruby's Academy was named after my grandmother. My grandmother was Ruby Middleton Forsyth, and in South Carolina, she operated one of the last one-room school houses. It's in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, and gained some national acclaim back in the 80s. She was in Parade and Good Morning America and all these things for having a concept where children of all different ages, multi-age children were all in the same schoolhouse, and they all helped with the little ones, and the older ones gain responsibilities and things of that nature. I always call it reminds me of a Little House on the Prairie, for those older ones, Little House on the Prairie kind of concept. But she operated one through the Episcopal Church. So we named it after her, and that's how Ruby's Academy. Yeah.
That is unique and a great story. Love that. So tell our audience a little bit about Ruby's Academy and why you're different from other centers in the area. What's your philosophy?
Well, I think what makes us most different is that we are one of the few in our area that's locally owned and operated. The great thing about us is that we gained especially since we used to be very hands-on, very much well-known in the community. We've gained our parents' trust, the community's trust. Because we're local, we are able to kind of take a pulse of what's going on in our community, and we are able to pivot, and we are able to implement programs and things to benefit our parents, but also us as a business as well. It's got to be mutual. But we found that to be very, very much successful for us as local business owners.
Wow, it's a great story. Like you said 12 years you've been in business?
15.
15. Wow. So you guys you're dialed in now. And it was easy right from the beginning, right?
You're right. No way.
It was not easy.
So we know, there's obstacles and roadblocks, and I call them landmines everywhere in business. And it's just the nature of business. If it was easy, everybody would do it. it's just not the case. There's risk, there's problems, there's a whole bunch of different situations, and everybody faces them. And that's the good thing, because the reward is so sweet when you get there. So tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles you did face when you were trying to open your school, and maybe that first year.
Well, I think when we had it in our home, it was really easy. You only had a few kids. I did the little payroll and kept up with all the billing and everything for the parents, just using QuickBooks to start off. And then after we moved into the center, you had more employees to deal with and other obstacles that you come in contact with when you have a center, one building center, and trying to deal with safety, consistent enrollment, learning the ebbs and flows of enrollment and the peak season when people enroll and when they want to bring their kids. That was a big hurdle for us, just trying to get some focus of what is consistent in childcare business. I guess one of the things that helped us throughout the year that kind of made things a little bit easier for us is that her parents were educators, my parents were educators. So we were in the classrooms, both she and I, with our parents, understanding, what is expected to do with kids in the school. And so that helped us out a little bit, but we still had the obstacles of budgeting, trying to figure out what kind of money we needed to have on hand, what funds that we need to ascertain to make our payroll and to make sure that we could grow to some sort. And then other things like not knowing what KPIs are or budgeting indicators that's going to help us forecast our business so that we can pay taxes at the end of the year, and show a bottom line profit and know exactly how to manipulate taxes, not manipulate, but learn the tax codes basically so it can benefit us to a brighter future. So those little hurdles throughout the year hurt us, set us back, but we were able to brush off ourselves and get back up and start moving again.
What about you, Vaudrien? What were some of your biggest obstacles?
The biggest obstacle was managing staff. Managing people. I could deal with the kids all day. When I was at my home dealing with children, it was a piece of cake. I loved it. I enjoyed when they arrived. I enjoyed them all day. But once we got into the center, it was this element of managing people who were grown, and it was difficult. It was very difficult for me. I found that the nicer you are to them, the more it was like nice,
More advantage
of you. Yeah, I had to kind of get a little tougher because I'm a people pleaser and I care. So that was difficult for me to kind of pull myself back. Thank goodness I had William, because he could see kind of the management. He has better experience with the management portion of it, and could see some of the errors that I made in the beginning and helped me to kind of navigate that.
And that was a big obstacle for us because in childcare and being prior military, it didn't work well.
No.
And I just ruled with the military mindset, and that doesn't work in this industry at all. And so it took some coaching, and it took a lot of patience for me to come down off my my military bars and say, okay, this is not.
Yeah, well, Carol and I are both military, so that was a double whack. We both tried to lead like a military. Carol has a little more heart than I did, but we still had the same challenges. Even today, we still, we would much prefer to lead military people because they tend to listen and follow orders.
Oh, yeah.
But you can play the hand you're dealt.
Yes.
All right. Well, it is Black History Month, and can you tell us what that means to you?
Well, it means a lot to us. We realize that we stand on the shoulders of many great people. We recognize that there was a lot of sacrifice, especially within our families, both families, for us to be able to sit here as childcare owners and own our own businesses, which is a huge thing for our families. William and I found a unique way to honor our legacy. We both took half of the rooms in the daycare. So I took 5, he took 5, and we named those rooms after people in our families who we felt were had impeccable character, which is one of our values, valued education, and just for hard workers. We're talking about farmers, farmers and teachers, and just all kinds of people in our families. And we named each classroom with those names. And so when you come to our school, it's like, oh, what is the Forsyth room? What is the Corley room? It doesn't really mean anything to people outside our school, but once they understand the significance of it, it's family. It's people who would have never been acknowledged in their lifetime for the great things they did.
And that gives us our roots back to our family. And it lets our clients know that when you go home and when you leave from home and you come to our center, you're going from home to home. And the kids have that feeling, oh, I'm at my other home.
Yeah.
And that gives them a level of appreciation and comfort that they really just can't get in most places.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Ruby.
And Ruby is there too.
We had a Ruby.
Got her, and her picture is on the wall in our both reception areas. Yes,
and in the auditorium. So it works.
And you guys are making history. You guys are run a great school down in Charleston, South Carolina. Someday somebody's going to be something named after you guys. I just know it. Hopefully your kids will be running your school and or grandkids even. And then they got a picture of old, Grandpa William, and Grandma Vaudrien up on the wall.
Well, the kids are working. They are working in the school. All our children have worked in the school and work extensively in the school.
They're more interested now that they see that we're not there, because in the past they saw us there all day, all the time. They're like, I don't want a part of that. But now, since we've been with you all, they see that there's another side of this. Oh, they're not at the school every day. Well, maybe we can be interested in something like this. So,
and if you're a listener and you want your children to be involved in the business, do not be criticizing your business constantly. Do not be working 70, 80 hours a week.
Yes.
Let them see the good parts of business ownership, because if you only show them the negative, they'll never want to be involved. That's the reason 4 of our 5 kids work for us, that we have a good lifestyle within the childcare business and we don't work crazy hours, and we enjoy. We just got done with 3 weeks in Jamaica. How many other business owners in America get to do that? So if you set your business up right, your children will want to be in business with you.
Well, to add on to that, Brian, not to cut you short, our children, our 2 older children, they run our summer camp and our winter camps, and they get all the proceeds from that. So they advertise, they solicit, and they actually get the dividend from it. And that really changes their whole perspective on business. It gives them a chance to understand what payroll is and accounting, the whole accounting process. So they're making sure that everybody feels timely and they get their money on time. And so that gives them a sense of ownership. And so they're looking to build on that brand every year and every break, Christmas break, summer break, and when school's out, they're there trying to make that extra money.
What would you say to, if there's an African American out there right now and they want to open a childcare, but they don't think they can do it? What would you tell them? They're a couple just like you.
Yeah, I would tell them there's never a perfect time. Everything is never going to be perfect for you to jump in and actually do it. And you get the support of coaches like yourself. You get the support of others, because you need that knowledge base to really step out there and feel confident in what you're doing. But confidence comes a lot with it. It's just having faith that it's going to be successful, and not waiting for everything to line up perfectly, because there's never going to be it's never going to be perfect staff, perfect anything, kids, perfect parents. It's just, you got to trust that you have the proper tools, and you got to get those. If you don't have those tools, you gain that knowledge, gain those tools, and then you go for it.
Find a mentor.
Yes.
America's not perfect, but I will say this: it's the perfect place to do business. If you want to own a business, America is the country to do it in. We are the land of opportunity, and anybody can do what you've done if they repeat what you have done, or I have done, or any one of the thousands and tens of thousands of childcare owners that do it. They always say God is no respecter of persons, but business is no respecter too. If you do the work, you put the right daycare in the right place, anybody can become a millionaire if you do the right things. Don't ever think that you can't do it out there. If you ever feel that you can't do it, just reach out to me and I'll motivate you. Anybody succeed in the right place. All right. So what are some strategies you guys use when working together so you don't get on each other's nerves? You haven't killed each other yet, so that's a good sign. How do you avoid, we call it crashing into each other's lanes?
Well, until we did our expansion, we really wasn't in each other's lanes and each other's hair. Because of your coaching, we learned to divvy up responsibilities based on our strengths, our character, and our personality. And that wasn't easy to do because sometimes we as a couple, we feel that we both can do something well.
Yes.
And there's a 50-50 tie. And so we have to figure out a common ground between the two of us. And that happens through what we call our prayer and our heart talk.
Yes, we do.
And we have more heart talks now than ever when we first started with that. And that allows us to settle our differences. Just staying in our lanes and having those clear objectives, clear goals, long-term, short-term goals helps us stay married happily so that we are not at each other's throats. If we didn't have those goals and objectives, yes,
it wouldn't be good.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good. Because we have personalities. She has a very strong personality, and so do I, and a desire to do well and to lead. We're both leaders, but somebody has to lead and somebody has to follow and support. And we have to be able to shift and know when to shift without saying anything and learning when to listen and when to speak. Be slow to speak. And that used to be my problem because I had diarrhea of the mouth and I just say what I want to say. And I learned how to slow it down to a small trickle and not let it just get out of there. So,
all right, Vaudrien.
And you remember us a year ago, we were, my gosh, I wouldn't even say our lanes were intersecting all over the place. So we had a very difficult, that was probably our number one problem starting out, when we started getting some assistance with you all in coaching. The number one thing was definitely trying to define the lanes. What is William's job? What is my job? Okay, William's doing what's on my lane, and it's a process. And it doesn't happen overnight, and we make mistakes, and we still, we learn from them, and we apologize, and we don't let it happen again. And that's kind of how we approach it. But it is so much better now that we have recognized what the problem, that it is a lane issue. These are the things that Williams is accountable for. These are the things I'm accountable for. And as long as we continue as we have been doing for months now, and stay in those lanes, we have not had those major issues.
Blowouts.
Yeah. That's been a huge difference. And just us in our relationship, just not having all of the conflict and bringing the conflict home, which was a problem.
Or having the conflict to happen at the center, and we say something, our voices get elevated because we have our heart and what we do, our passion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that say I don't want to work with my spouse because they know that will happen. It's a process. I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather work with. Why am I near the same way? You love your wife so much that I couldn't think of not spending the whole day with her every day. That would be awkward for me to not be around. Like Carol, she's out of town today and she'll be home later tonight. And I was like, man, I've been with her the last 3 weeks in Jamaica by her side 24/7. I was like, I miss her. She'd been gone for a couple hours and she had to go out of town. And like, I miss her. And that's how it is once you start working together. You kind of figure it would be awkward not working together. Yeah, it's not perfect, but neither is working a job and coming home from two different jobs. You both, sometimes frustrated at, and you come home and can't really share that either. And then you talk about it and then you get an argument because she won't listen to you. You won't listen to her. And it can be just as bad not working together if you let it. So, I'm glad you guys have figured it out. You mentioned the word heart talk. It's something we teach at our Jamaica conference. It's really the only place we teach that. So if you're interested in coming, we'd love to have you there. It's a lot of couples go there. We'll talk about that a little bit. So I love that. So how has coaching helped you grow your business? We've been working together for a little over a year. How has that helped you, Vaudrien, first?
Okay. It's been life-changing for us, and for me especially, because I'm more of a perfectionist. So it was difficult. It was extremely difficult for me to hear harsh talk, especially if it's true talk, and I remember when you told us, you said you're just not ready for another center. And that really kind of hurt my feelings. I was like, I thought we were really ready. And you're like, nope, till you get all of this stuff together, y'all know what each person is doing. You really aren't ready for it. And you were right. You were absolutely right. I didn't want to hear it, but it was true. And then it made me take a deeper look into what we were doing. And I was at my center all day long, doing all these little tedious tasks, everything but the important things to get another center. I was at work all the time.
Mopping the floors.
Doing everything, anything. Anything I passed by and I thought needed to be attended to, there I was. And you taught me that it's not going to be whatever, 90%, 95, 100, whatever my threshold is, it could be 80%. And as long as the kids are still being cared for, the teachers are teaching, the important things are happening, parents are pleased, things are happening. It's okay if one little thing, if there's a little dust on the windowsill or whatever that thing is, it's the little things that got me caught up being in the center. But now I realize that being away, I've had so many opportunities to really grow our center. We've done all kinds of things. We're doing the Spanish immersion program. We're doing just all these things are just popping up in my head, just different ways of utilizing the center and utilizing our space more efficiently. It's been great. It would not have happened without us getting that advice, coaching, and also the tools, just the automation, the systems. Yeah, we had no clue about some of the systems. One of our biggest problems was staffing, and through coaching, we found this marvelous way of hiring. This hiring system with Career Plug, it has just generated so many applicants that seemed non-existent months ago. So just knowing the right things, gaining the right tools, and networking with the right people has been tremendous. It really has.
Awesome. How about you, William? How's that helped you?
Well, the coaching has helped me out tremendously. And just like she said, she stole all my thunder, to tell you the truth. But just getting the coaching and making sure that we just utilize the systems. We utilize in one place. We have friends now that we made in Jamaica, and on the calls, when we're coming on our calls every Wednesday, we made new friends, and we found that, hey, if they made that mistake, we don't have to make that mistake. And you talk about different people would have multiple centers and just single centers, how they're doing things, and everybody's willing to share and help and get on the phone and call you after hours. And that's what I'm taking back. And I love it. Jamaica has been really good for us like that. And even all the conferences that we've been with Brian. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's very humbling from Carol and I. We both enjoy coaching guys very much. And it's not the coaching, it's the student. I could teach you all day long, but if you're not willing to absorb it and change, and sometimes, like when I said that to you, Vaudrien, it hurts for me to say it. You're not ready for another school yet, but I don't sugarcoat things. And a good coach will always tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. And some people don't like to be told that. And you're smart enough to absorb that, let it sink in for a little while. You're probably mad at me for a couple of weeks, but you got to work on it. And now you're married to your husband and not to Mac anymore, which is good.
Right.
Mac is her computer that she used to have an affair with every night in bed. And Mac is gone and William is now replaced, and I'm a happy man because of that.
Great replacement.
I hope that they make a reel. They don't take just that part about you having an affair with Mac. So I'm kidding.
That's the computer, guys.
Yeah. So where do you see your business 3 years from now, Vaudrien?
I definitely see our second center. I hope you see it too. But we definitely will. William's been amazing, and now that we're away from the center, he is on fire getting us. He's located a few little options for us, and he's talking to people at the water company and all these other things, the utilities, the zoning board, and making sure that he is doing his due diligence and making sure that it's something that we can look to do in the near future. We'll be very, very excited about that.
You know, we love is the fact that you have a real estate license, William. That is huge. We highly recommend that if, you know, because you do investing outside of daycare with personal. And of course, you know, Carol and I do a lot of real estate investing too. So we always recommend if you can get licensed, boy, you could find deals nobody else can. You save on the commission. It's a really good thing having that real estate license.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys attended our Jamaica conference called the Leverage Conference Jamaica. So what was the experience like for you, William?
Well, I got to meet in person all the people that we've been talking to over a year, doing the Wednesday morning calls and doing the webinars, mainly meeting these people, having time to relax, release with them, and just enjoying time, 4-hour classes, gosh, from 8 to 12, and then margaritas at 1 o'clock, just as fast as I can get out of their class, change clothes, and enter the pool. We are drinking margaritas.
And coaching, and we're still learning.
And we're still learning because everybody's there in the pool talking. I mean, I guess the only bad part about it is that I probably shriveled up a little bit by being in the pool 6 hours. But just getting the friends or making new friends and making our relationship better, getting all the different classes that you had tax strategies, you had insurance strategies, you had a whole group of people there that's going to help us directly in our childcare industry. And you couldn't ask for anything better than that. And it's everything that's catered toward us. And then we got a little one-on-one coaching while we were there, with you in the pool, with Carol in the pool, and the ladies got together, the guys got together, talking about how our wives do this or how the husbands do that. It was just mind-blowing and good, and everybody was willing to share. So great atmosphere. I'm just trying to get to Jamaica as often as you do, Next year, 3 years from now, 4 centers plus. Hey, she's saying 1 or 2. I'm saying 4. And more margaritas by the poolside. That's what I see.
How about you, Vaudrien? What did you like best about it?
He shared a lot of the same. I agree with him. I love the content. It seems like everything was exactly what I wanted to hear about, what I wanted to learn about. Every session was valuable. It wasn't any session the entire week that I can think of that it was like, okay, I already know that. I learned something from everything that was offered. And like he said, the networking was wonderful. And I networked with several ladies, and we still communicate. We do little weekly calls and help motivate each other and keep each other on task. And that's been huge because I never really had that kind of, I always felt like I was kind of here on my own in our little community doing my thing, but to have that support from other business owners going through the same kind of things or who've already done it and can motivate me, that was wonderful. And that's something I really treasure.
Well, if you're listening and you want to know more information about our Leverage Conference in Jamaica, it'll be this year, September 30th to October 4th. Just go to our website and you can get on our waiting list right now. We actually have a long waiting list already going. And we're going to be back at the same resort this year. This will be our last year here. We're going to be going to a different country next year. But it's going to be the same resort. And you guys, the food was good. The pools are amazing. You highly recommend going, right?
We already bought a ticket.
Absolutely.
You're already going.
We are booked.
Good. Well, you could be there and people could meet you guys and learn a little bit about and pick your brain. And they're going to be getting coaching from you in the pool, William. Just make sure you don't have too many margaritas before you start coaching. So if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different?
Well, this is not a perfect world. Unfortunately, Brian, you share everything. I mean, you ask a question, it's like rubbing the genie bottle, You ask the question, you get the answer. That doesn't help me much. It helps me a lot because I want to kind of keep the bottle to myself. But you're the genie that shares it with everybody. So the good thing about it is that everybody has a chance to benefit from it, and everybody's all on every corner of the U.S. And you've got people from Canada coming in. So, everybody's learning about your magic,
Mm.
and it's good. So the thing, if I could do it all over again, I would have had you earlier and
Yes.
told some of my closer friends
Mhm.
about you.
Yes. 15
Nice.
years. I
Yeah.
wish we had met you 10 years ago, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we wish we had done it much sooner.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Coaching, whether you get coached by us or somebody else, having that guidance. I have a coach, it's just all coaches have coaches. I coach all of my coaches as well. And it's always good to have somebody to bounce ideas off of and put you on the right path. And as I say, course correct, making sure if you get a little off track. And the fact that Carol and I are a couple coaching group, we love working with couples as well as yourself. It's kind of our specialty lies helping that. So is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience or our followers and the millions of people listening right now? Who would you like to say?
Well, the biggest thing, get on board. Brian and his team have a wealth of knowledge. All you got to do is just rub his genie head and you'll get the answers, It's just don't take too long to jump in the water. The water's warm and the information is good, it's solid, and it's proven and it's been tested. So don't wait, don't procrastinate. And like I said,
I love it, William, but please don't rub my head. I hate my hair touched.
Well, it's the bottle, not your head. The magic genie bottle,
Now you know one of my pet peeves. I hate my hair touched. Vaudrien, anything you want to add?
I would add that that you can do it. We started this in the den here at our house, downstairs in the den with a few children, not even with the concept of where this was going to lead. And as we saw that there was something there, we just had that confidence to go ahead and keep moving forward and keep moving. So you don't have to have a lot of money. We did it in our home and we just grew it from there. Just a few children out. When we opened our center, we had 13 kids the first day. So it can be done. Yes. It
can be done. Don't let if you have a goal, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. As my saying goes, don't tell me what I can't do till after I've done it.
Yes.
And anything is possible. This is a country of opportunity. Just go find those opportunities and don't let people tell you what you can't do. Go get it. So great episode. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy life to spend time with us. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in Jamaica and talking to you real soon on our next coaching call. So have a good rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
That was a great interview. I just love working with William and Vaudrien. And it was a challenge in the beginning working with them, like they said, and they weren't ready for another school. And if you're a single center owner and you are married to that school and you're there 5 days a week, all day long, you're not ready for a second school because you have to be got to be able to separate from the first one. And that's the reason 95% of childcare owners never open a second school, because they can't let go of the first. Once Vaudrien let go of that first school, now she's ready for number 2. And we coach people to help you get ready for that. So if you need help in your childcare business and you would like a free coaching call with one of our certified coaches on our team to help you in any area that you're struggling in, go to our website, click on childcaregenius.com. And under the coaching tab, select that like a free coaching call, and we'll hook you up with one of our certified coaches. You're guaranteed to come away with 2 or 3 action items to where you're struggling. This is for childcare center owners only. So this concludes episode 78 of the Childcare Genius podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to spend a little time with us. And Carol and I will be back next week with another amazing African-American power couple for you to get to know during Black History Month. So this is Brian Dupre signing off. Have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.